Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to my talk. It's just 5 minutes, won't take too much of your time. I want to talk to you about OpenSSF Scorecard, the superhero that saves your open source project. First of all, a little bit about myself. I'm Andrei. I'm a consultant at Liquid Reply, and I focus mostly on infrastructure, KCD, Kubernetes, and I do some software engineering as well. And if you want to connect, there's a QR code for LinkedIn, of course. And the problem that I want to talk to you about today is imagine that you're building an open source project and you're creating a repository and you have some functionality in mind and you focus on that initially. So you probably don't have any kind of security or maybe very minimal, or also you're not probably following best practices and stuff like that. Or if you do, it's just a few of them. And you probably will be sharing your repository with somebody else, or if it becomes successful, other people will start using it. And since a lot of people start using it and are building on top of it, you basically become part of the software supply chain, if you've heard of that before. And what that means is that if you have some sort of vulnerability in your code or your deployment or whatever, it means that everybody else will just basically inherit the same vulnerabilities and will be just as exposed as you are. So what is a way of establishing sort of a baseline security for your project and also to make sure that this is visible for the others who are using your project? And I want to introduce to you the security scorecards is called. It's an open source project from the Open Source Security Foundation. And what it is basically a security analysis tool for your repository. And it generates reports that look like this. And what it does, it evaluates multiple categories, such as branch protection, or checks if you do statistical analysis, or if you have checks for your PRs, and also reviews and stuff like that. And each category has a score from 0 to 10, 10 meaning the best, most aligned to best practices and like most secure. And it also has a sort of a risk score from critical to low, as you can see here. And in the end, it aggregates everything into one number. And this number, you can put it in your README file, so everyone who enters your repository can just see it directly there on the front page. And if they click on it, they can see this entire thing that I've been showing you here, and it's publicly hosted. So everyone can have a sort of an overview of what you're doing with your project. For example, if you're using maintainers from multiple companies, and if it's actively maintained, then all kinds of stuff. There's like 20 or 30 categories in here. And I hope the next time you start your open source project, or it also works for private repositories. You have to give it your personal access token, but it works. You just have to include it into your GitHub Actions pipeline. It's just 2 lines. And once you run it, it will generate the report that I showed you before. So I hope you will use it the next time you start something, and you can improve your security and proudly display it on your repository. But thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good lunch. Thank you.